Hi, Kara. So I just opened up your synth training and here we go. First of all, I'm obviously familiar with the Canvas outline, but I like how you've kept it pretty simple, pretty neat. You haven't added too much to this main page. Um, Having these consistent graphics is really nice, and you've kind of kept the colors simple, so looks really put together. Um, and I'm going to pause while I check out this video. That was a great introduction video. I love how you had the little Bitmoji in there, how you had your video down in the corner. Um, and I mean, this might sound like a bad thing, I don't mean it in a bad way, but that sounded like a promotional video written by Synth to start. I mean, you really sold it. And then connecting it to the teaching standards is genius. Dr. Duggan did talk to Brandy and I about trying to not focus narrowly on teachers and to never refer to students, always trainees and things like that. So hopefully that won't be an issue. I mean, I think all of us, our audience is classrooms, but just to point that out. I mean, it is very specific in a way that I think is great. Um, and yeah, you outlined the three modules and you gave kind of the overarching goal of being able to create a podcast assignment, looking at the synth blogs. So yeah, that was very comprehensive for being so short. Okay, now we've got this tutorial. I've never seen, I assume this is an app or something called Try It, but I like that. And it says to begin this training, please click on the Module 1 button above, but I think this comes first.
The first step is to open Synth by going to the website. Click Continue
and
choose your Google
wow,
account.
This is nifty.
That's it.
Did you make this? Cool. Okay. I'll have to check this out. I'm not familiar, but that was really cool. I mean, I already know how to set up a Synth account, but that is super handy. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up to Module 1. Generally, I prefer not to have to scroll back up to click on buttons, but like I mentioned, you have such a clean and simple layout, and it's really easy to remember where those Module 1 buttons are. So in this case, I don't think it's an issue that you have to like go back to find something. And I'll open this up. Okay, so I guess for people who are not familiar with Canvas, it could be nice to have that just open up onto the introduction page, or to even include like an overview of how Canvas works. But again, obviously, we all know how this works, so I'll just jump into it. Let's see, I presume, oh, perfect. All right, let me check this out. All right, another good video. I went back just because I had forgotten to turn on captions and make sure that those were working, but the captions are spot on, so that's great. I tend to not really like the Voky voice just because it's really impersonal and kind of robotic sounding. But you know, you picked a like reasonable looking character, and I mean it's a very straightforward video, so doesn't bother me. And then I'm curious if I click on these, they'll probably be the same, but let's just find out. And my computer is really slow, so this might take a minute. There we go. Why podcasts? Good question. Nice. This is really nicely put together. Like that image is a little grainy, but totally does not detract from the meaning at all. These are good statistics, although you might need to cite them. Hopefully that's coming up. Again, a little bit of a graininess issue with the picture, but not a big deal. Nice. Oh, there we go. Sources. Yeah, I'm not sure what the etiquette is, but I would probably go ahead and cite those in the infographic just to be safe, especially if you're using this in an educational context. But great infographic. All right, tutorial for creating a podcast on Synth. Let me check it out. Just one quick comment as I'm going through this. It might be nice to make it clear that this is the Synth website, and I'm not sure why it's cut off like this. Okay, well that seems to fix it, but could just be something to troubleshoot and see if you can get the dimensions such that it doesn't cut off when it's in the smaller format. Okay, so this is a super awesome tool. I love this. It makes it so easy to navigate through. I'll definitely have to check it out. The one thing I would maybe say is that this is a lot of information all at once. Um, Maybe it would be a little bit easier to kind of break it up into how to create a synth and then how to share a synth, or just something to kind of trunk the information a little bit more, because eventually you're just sort of like clicking and not really taking in what each button is, or at least not enough that I feel like I would be able to replicate those steps later. But this is a super awesome tool. Maybe you could break it up and have this be the first step, and then you could have like a screencast video for the other part just to mix it up, or like images with screenshots and highlights as you've done, or I don't know, some other format maybe to mix it up, but this is very cool. All right. Just making sure there's nothing below that. Okay. All right. I am assuming that it's supposed to pop up here. It's probably just my bad internet that's making that not happen. Let me see if I can refresh the page. Maybe that'll help. Or sometimes my internet just doesn't cooperate. Okay, so I'll come back to that. Oh, I can click it. Oh, and it was just about to do it. Oh, great, look at that. So the one that I clicked is still loading. Oh, interesting. Okay, I guess I just clicked something that brought me to Padlet. All right, additional verbal support. Wow, Leah really went hard on this. Nice. Cool. That's awesome that you can embed Padlet right into Canvas. That is super handy. Cool, okay. I'll just keep moving so you don't have to wait for me to respond to everything. Okay, creating a synth podcast. This definitely seems like it could use an image of some kind just to, oh, look at that. Perks of slow internet. You get pleasantly surprised with all the fun things people have added. um, okay, so create a short podcast using your workplace. It can be directed towards student or staff. Great. Cool. I'm just gonna see what happens when I click that. Oh, nice. Okay, so I see other people's submissions. And then view full. I'm imagining that'll open it up in a new tab. But again, internet's super slow, so I'll check on that later, make sure it worked. And then if I click on that, presumably it'll take me to the Synth homepage. But that's not really relevant, just me messing around. Okay. Can I like it directly in here? No, that would be cool. What does that do? Oh, that just shows me the video that's attached. Okay. Cool. Next step. So again, I would maybe just have this like lead right into the module, especially since you have really clear directions of where to click for each page, but not a huge issue for this purpose. All right, let me check this out. Another great short and succinct video, clear recommendations for why people should be using Synth. I like that you mixed it up and had a video of you. Yeah, just great all around. And you made it really clear what the goal was going to be for this module without it being overwhelming or too technical or specific or anything. So, very nice. Let's move on. Okay. So I feel like this is kind of similar to the other Padlet that you included. Ideas for using podcasts. Oh no, this is ways that, oh no, this is the same one. Did I get totally confused? Um, Let me just double check. Are there two Padlet pages? Padlet module 1, Padlet module 2. Let me just double check that these are the same. Um, oh, I see. So you've separated out module 1, module 1, module 2, module 3. Wow. Okay, I just didn't catch that the first time, but that is probably on me. Um, yeah, I guess it's probably going to be nice at the end to have it all compiled in one place. Um, Maybe it would just be good to introduce at first that this is the same Padlet that's going to be used for other modules, so that only the first two categories are what you're supposed to focus on for module 1, etc. Um, but okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. I see why you would put those together. Okay, and then an assignment. You will create a podcast assignment for students on Synth. Great. Practice sharing your podcast assignment or idea with the discussion board. Respond to at least 2 people. Okay, yeah, classic. This looks like something you would see in one of our classes. Um, cool. Okay, yeah, it's a nice way to get people thinking more actively about specific ideas that they would use. Although, yeah, I guess people could use the ideas that they had from the Padlet. Um, So I don't know, maybe it would be a good idea to have them brainstorm a couple of ideas on the Padlet and then pick one for this assignment, or just something to differentiate the two a little bit more. Or maybe the point is to use the Padlet to decide on the idea, and then this is where they actually create it. So in that case, then I would say it would be better that people should actually create the podcast assignment, since the Padlet assignment was for them to think of an idea. Um, so maybe I'm missing something, but could be good to just differentiate a little bit more between the two. Moving on to Module 3. All right. So I was just going back to kind of review everything that's a part of this module. Um, yeah, it sounds like you had to recraft the training at the last minute, which sucks. I'm sorry that that happened. Um, so that makes sense why this module is kind of a hodgepodge combination. Maybe in the future, or if you had had more time or Synth hadn't changed on you, it'd be great to separate out the learning about blogs from the reflecting, and maybe even from like the examples of podcasts to listen to and things like that. But yeah, so a little bit much going on in this module maybe, but I know you'll handle it gracefully. And I also was just thinking about how I like that you just kind of have one simple thing on each page. Um, it is not the best for me with my slow internet because I have to reload everything every time I click anything. But I think it makes for a really nice, easy to follow layout, so you're not feeling like you constantly have to scroll around the page or go back and wonder where things are, because everything is really easily labeled and identifiable. So I actually really like that about your design. And I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the blogs. Okay, so we're gonna look through the blogs. Yeah, so this seems like a pretty basic overview. I guess we're not going to get into like creating blogs, which would make sense if this was a new feature that you were kind of having to cram in at the last minute. So let me just pull up that blog that you linked to. Swivel. Okay, gotcha. So this is a blog hosted through Synth. Okay, I'm gonna check it out and I will follow up in part 2 of this Think Aloud.